Hey everyone, Chag Sameach, Chanukah Sameach to all of you watching. Remember, if you're signing in, don't be shy. Say hello and let me know who you are signing in from. I know I have people from all over the world who usually do watch the broadcast, and I always like to know who are my friends, where are they signing in from, who's listening. So please don't be shy here when you come on the broadcast and you first come in. Say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. I want to talk a little bit about Chanukah. I'm going to give a little bit of insight on this holiday, which is, from all the fun and games, the real meaning of it is kind of lost. So we're going to talk a little bit about the real meaning of Chanukah. We are going to give some news about Israel, some bad news, some good news. And of course, we're going to talk about the UN vote, the embarrassing UN vote with the very proud American veto of that vote. I'm going to explain to you why that vote was so important, why America's vote was so important, and what I could see now, the possibilities happening right now around the world if people follow suit after United States of America. By the way, anybody who doesn't understand that America has changed since the elections, I'm sorry, you're just blind. Is Trump a nice guy, not a nice guy? Totally irrelevant to me. The behavior of the U.S., both in terms of the president, in terms of the State Department, in terms of the UN representation when it comes to Israel, is a 110, 150%, 1,000% turnaround. There's nothing to talk about. It's a complete difference. The way that America is relating to its number one ally, Israel, is a complete opposite of what was going on for the last 8 years, maybe. Okay, let's see who's here. Don Sharp is in here from Canada. Gary's here. Who else is in the house? Banish is here. Thank you, Banish, for sharing. I appreciate that. I really do. Paulina's here from Passaic. Ari's in the house. Thank you. Modi'in. All right. Fantastic. All right, everyone. Chag Sameach. Before I forget, today, standing together, we went out. 1,000 soldiers, guys, kept on coming in. Men and women kept on coming in more and more and more. We finished up serving we finished up serving the pancakes and the waffles and Belgian waffles. Also, a whole other group of 50, 100 soldiers came in. We got to actually 1,000 soldiers. It was absolutely amazing. And we are planning this week, before Chanukah is over, to get to another 1,000 soldiers. The only thing is, we're missing some finances for that. So when this video is over, or when you decide to turn off, hit the pinned link that I just put down below right now, and help us wish IDF soldiers a very, very happy Chanukah. They can't get out for the holiday, so we're going to bring the holiday right to them. Today we went to the south of Israel, one of the major training bases in Israel, all infantry, all everything from regular units to special units were there, and it was just an amazing, amazing experience, and I want all of you to be part of that, so hit that link below and join me. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Israel, what's going on. So a couple of things have happened over the Gracie. How are you? Welcome, everyone. Chanukah Sameach. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about it. I want to get to the issue of Chanukah, so those who are here, please be a little bit patient, because I think the message of Chanukah is going to be very, very important when I do speak about it. What I want everyone to do, please, is share this out. We're on 15 people now. Let's get 115 people on here, all right? So first of all, let's just talk about, for 1 second, the UN vote, okay? Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States of America, made a decision, it was a month ago already, that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. Surprise, it's been the capital of Israel since the modern day of Israel was created. I love in all the hearts. And of course, it's been the Jewish holy city for 3,000 years. And on the other flip side of that is it's never been a Muslim holy city, and it's never been an Arab capital. So all Trump did was say the truth. That's all that basically happened. Of course, it's been very hard for the world to say the truth for the last 70 years, so we're very happy Trump did that. And of course, the UN, a very dishonest organization, went ahead and was voting against the truth. They wanted to back up and say, let's retract the truth, let's go back to the lies. And 14 out of 15 countries who have voting rights voted to retract the Trump statement. Of course, America pulled the veto card and threw that vote in the garbage. I think the UN certainly represents darkness, lies, dishonesty. I think the UN has lost its right to exist. It was created in order to protect people who are weak, people who did not have those others to protect them, to make sure that the Holocaust does not happen again. It was created for a very, very important goal and reason. Today, it's completely run out of gas, and they're putting people to dictatorships and human rights councils, and they're telling Israel that we're the biggest violators of women's rights when Saudi Arabia is sitting right there and women can't drive. So it's going to be a dishonest organization, and it's lost its mandate to even rule or do anything. So it's darkness. It's really, really is darkness. The problem is the darkness is so popular that it looks like light. And what America did, Nikki Haley is an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. Someone tag her in this feed right now. Nikki Haley is an amazing woman, not just because she's pro-Israel. She stands up for what's right, and she doesn't take you-know-what from anyone. So America proudly stood up and vetoed this horrific, horrific, dishonest vote at the UN and threw it out the window. Thank God, an amazing, amazing statement for the United States of America. They're no longer going to the lies of diplomacy, but they're choosing truth. So I want to say thank you to the United States of America. I want to say thank you to Nikki Haley. I want to say thank you to Donald Trump. And those of you who are hating on him, your problem, not mine. And before I go on, I just want to say we are still working on that new truck for the soldiers. And the thing is like this, if everybody would donate $18 and we got 10,000 people donate $18, we'd make it. So there's your link also before there. Raphael Steiner just donated $880. I appreciate it. I just saw it on PayPal. Thank you very much. Anybody who donate here, I will call you out as the broadcast goes along. Okay, what's going on inside of Israel? So first of all, we have the whole Shabbat law, the whole day of rest law. Since 1950, Israel has had a law of day of rest where businesses are closed. Of course, it has also a religious significance of the Shabbat, the Jewish day of rest. And today, the secular parties mostly are trying to cancel that and have businesses open all across Israel. Now, the problem is there's a law in Israel of day of rest. You're not legally allowed to open. And whether you agree with the law or not is totally irrelevant. There's a law. Those people who are opening against the law are criminals. Okay? So now, in Israel, the law passed that basically the stores that opened up already will stay open, and no other areas around Israel will be able to go against that law. The leftists and the secular people in Israel are up in arms about that. They want no Shabbat. They don't want to have anything closed, and they want to a little bit strip the Judaism out of the Jewish state, which, of course, most people will not allow. Moving on from that, those of you who saw the horrific, embarrassing video today coming out of Israel of three Arab terrorists who were standing in front of soldiers, everything from kicking them to slapping them across the face. Soldiers, IDF soldiers standing there, getting slapped across the face physically and doing absolutely nothing. Literally absolutely nothing. At one point, the soldier grabbed the woman's hand and put her down. She slapped her across the face again, and the soldier did absolutely nothing. First of all, it's terribly embarrassing. It puts us back in the ghetto where we just can't defend ourselves. It doesn't matter if you have a gun on you and you have power and you're an IDF soldier if you're not going to use it. And again, I'm not talking about shooting everyone, but you cannot allow terrorists to smack you in the face and not do anything. Not only for your own personal shame and for national shame, it actually strengthens the terrorists. Okay, when you have people like that who are kicking soldiers and slapping them in the face and you don't do anything about it, the terrorists are strengthened. You're not only shaming Israel and shaming the IDF, you're actually strengthening those who want to destroy us. So my personal view is I don't know who that soldier is, and I feel bad for him about to say, but it must be done. That soldier must be demoted, completely demoted, and taken he was command, he was an officer on his shoulder. He must be demoted from officer's rank. I would even put him down to private or kick him out of the army. The same way that someone overreacts with power and does something that's illegal is demoted, I think someone who does not react to such abuse, physical abuse, a physical attack, assault on an IDF soldier has to be kicked out of the army. He doesn't know what he's there for. This is not just about pride, this is about danger. If you don't react to this kind of abuse and assault, then those who want to just kill us will feel free to abuse our soldiers. It was an embarrassment, but I think it doesn't come from the soldier's own mind. I don't think the soldier thought for a second that he should allow this to happen. The soldier himself, I'm sure, was very nervous that if he would react with a butt of the gun to the face, and again, you can't assault a soldier. You can't assault a military personnel. End of story. A butt of the gun to the face or an arrest, tie her up, put her in the truck, arrest her, would have gotten him in trouble because all the Israeli left-wingers, as well as the terrorists themselves, as well as international activists are here with their cameras wide open. And of course, they'll cut the picture, they'll cut the film down to not show the slap in the face, they'll just show the gun to the face. And of course, the soldier is scared that he'd get in trouble from the Israeli government. The Israeli government is not really the problem so much as the Israeli Supreme Court who are tying the soldiers' hands behind their back. I will tell you that if I was in that situation, and again, I am in uniform often, that woman would not be conscious. She'd be arrested and not be conscious. You cannot slap IDF soldiers across the face. End of story. I don't care what you're demonstrating about. And by the way, that goes for everyone. I don't care who you are. But certainly if you want to destroy the state of Israel, if that's your ideology, if you slap a military person across the face, you're going to get a butt of the gun to the face and you'll be arrested and thrown in jail. All right, end of story. It's embarrassing, and it's a sign of our times. It's a sign of Israeli self-inflicted weakness. Okay, have a gun and pick your hands up like you're back in the Warsaw Ghetto doesn't help you. It was terribly embarrassing, and I hope that is not. I hope that'll be a trigger for the authorities in this country to say, okay, that can't happen, and we're hoping that the next soldier who's under such assault will react the way they're supposed to react. That's in terms of news in Israel. I want to give you some other news that's going on in Israel. The IDF is attacking every time that missiles are being flown or being shot into Israel from Gaza. A house was hit. Of course, you didn't hear about this. A house was hit in Israel. Thank God nobody was injured. And the response to the IDF was to bomb Hamas. I won't call them headquarters, Hamas targets. Most of the time, the IDF is bombing empty hills. Again, in order not to get criticism from the world. You can't win a war this way, people. Okay, so I'm calling on the government of Israel, the people of Israel who vote for the government, calling on the government to do something about these courts and do something about the Supreme Court, which apparently has more concern over the rights of our enemies than the rights of our own people, and it's just got to stop. All right, let's talk a little bit about Chanukah. We're here to celebrate. Hold on one second. Keeps kicking me off. I'll keep trying. All right, you can try there two of them. One is the, please, everyone try the link and let me know if it's kicking you off. There's one is down, is pinned right there. And the other one is the truck link, which I just put up 2 seconds ago, and I'll put it up again right here. Hold on one second. There it is. So definitely let me know if those links are working or they're kicking you off. I know that when you press donate, it takes a couple of seconds to donate. So please be patient. Okay, so behind me you see we are on the seventh night of Chanukah. We have one more night to go, 8 nights. So I just want to reiterate that the Chanukiah that I'm lighting is 8. There are 8 candles here, and in the Beit HaMikdash, in the temple in Jerusalem, the menorah had 7 branches. So the menorah had 6 in the middle one, and this has 8 in the middle one. So that's a 9 and 7 really. And so I just want to discuss Chanukah for a second, because with all the fun and games of this holiday, a lot of the meaning has kind of like gotten lost. So this is really, really important. So please do share this out and let people know that I'm here so that they can join the broadcast right now. First of all, let's just talk about the holiday, what the holiday stands for. So when the Greeks were ransacking Jerusalem and attempting to defile the entire temple, everything from bringing pigs inside the temple to smashing everything sacred in the temple, there was a small group of Jews from the Hashmonaei family, the Maccabim we call them today. Maccabim, by the way, Mem Kaf Bet Yud is Mi Chamocha Be'elokim Hashem, who is like you, God. That's what it stands for. Maccabim, Mem Kuf Bet Yud, Mi Chamocha Be'elokim Hashem, who is like you, God. They were a very small group. I would even call them fanatic in our day. And they basically said we have to fight for our purity in our nation. And they stood up against the entire Greek Empire, and they won the war. Now, when I say they won the war wasn't won, and that was it. The Jews did not get full independence in the land of Israel after the holiday of Chanukah at all. They were still under an autonomy. We got freedom of movement in the temple back, but the temple was destroyed 200 years later. Just for those of you who did not know that, and the Hashmonaim, those who fought, actually didn't survive. Many of them did assimilate. They did become. They did assimilate to the Greek culture, and many of them were killed, but none of them survived. The Talmud says that anybody who says he's from the house of Hashmonaei, he's nothing but a slave, because they're lying. So the question is, what are we celebrating? What is the real miracle of Chanukah? Why are we lighting these 8 candles behind us? Now, it's interesting. We say, if I asked everyone out there, everyone watching me right now, okay, if I asked you, what is the miracle of Chanukah, what would you say? Hey, guys, feel free to write it down in the comments. Okay, since we were 0 years old, they taught us that the miracle of Chanukah was, I'll wait for your answer, the miracle of Chanukah was the small flask of oil that was left over that we lit in the Beit HaMikdash, and it was only enough oil to last for one day, and instead it lit for 8 days. So that's the story that we're told, right? And of course, I'm not denying the story of oil. That's right, Kelly, the oil, right? So first of all, just some geography about the Temple Mount, or the Beit HaMikdash as we call it, okay? The menorah is inside the holies, right? Again, there's the regular section, there's the holies and the holies of holies. The menorah is in the holy. Not people go in the holy, part of that part of that Beit HaMikdash were the Kohanim. In other words, the nation did not see the miracle, okay? And Paulina, that's a fantastic answer. We're going to get to that. So no one really saw the miracle except the Kohanim, okay? So the question is, what importance does what importance is the fact that God had the oil light for 8 days? We're talking about Kadosh Baruch Hu, the creator of the world. Lighting candles for 8 days is not that big of a deal, right? So what importance does it have to us as Jews? What's the big deal? So what that God lit candles for 8 days or a menorah for 8 days? What's the importance there? What's the relevance to us as Jews? Now, if we look in the prayer in the tefillah of Ala Nisim, right? We say 3 times a day a special davening Ala Nisim, and in that prayer we say Ala Nisim V'Ala Purkan on the miracles that we had by Yemei Bezman Hazeh in those days in our time, right? The Kohen Gadol was from the Beit Chashmonei. When the Greek Empire, the evil Greek Empire came over, they tried to have us forget our Torah, to stop doing mitzvot, stop doing the commandments, to give up on our traditions, right? That's what they wanted. They want us to forget. The language in the prayer is very interesting. They want us to forget our Torah. How do you make someone forget something, right? You could say, I want them to stop keeping the Torah. What does forgetting the Torah mean? How do you get someone to forget the Torah? And then it says that Kadosh Baruch Hu, God came along and He gave the many in the hands of the few, meaning the Yevanim in the hands of the Jews, the Maccabim, not the Jews, the Maccabim were few, the impure in the hands of the pure, right? Again, it's talking about the impurity of the Greek culture, which believed in all body, in the hands of the pure, of the Maccabim, who believed in spirituality, evil people in the hands of righteous people. And then there's another last one that says people who are doing sins intently, with intent, against those who follow the Torah. Okay? So a lot of things we have to talk about. Number one, what's interesting is Ala Nisim, it doesn't even mention the miracle of the oil. In the prayer that we say, thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For those who know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu means, it's the Holy One. That's what it means. So we don't say God. God is not a Hebrew word. So when we're thinking HaKadosh Baruch Hu about the nes, the miracle of Chanukah in Ala Nisim, in the prayer, we don't even mention the oil. There's no mention of the oil. So the question is, if the oil is the main source of our celebrating Chanukah, why don't we mention it in our tefillah? Why don't we mention it in our davening? That's number one, question number one. Number two, if you look at the Talmud, in Masechet Shabbat, in the Tractate of Shabbat, there's a question, Ma'i Chanukah? What is Chanukah? And believe it or not, there in the Talmud, it doesn't mention the miracle of the war. Right? Ala Nisim only mentions the miracle of the war, no mention of the oil. In Masechet Shabbat, it doesn't mention the oil, it mentions the war. So the question is, what's going on here? What is the miracle? Is the miracle the oil, or is the miracle the war? Okay, again, when we're thinking of Kadosh Baruch Hu, we're thinking Hashem, we're thinking God, we only mention the war. We're talking about halacha, we're talking about lighting the candles behind, and then we say it's lit in honor of the 8 days that the menorah was lit, that the menorah stayed lit, right? And of course, we eat the sufganiyot. For those who don't know why Jews eat the donuts, because they're soaked in oil. So if you bake the donuts, it doesn't count. It's not a real law. It's just a tradition. It's a nice tradition. And then levivot, we have the potato latkes, which we eat, again, are soaked in oil to remind us of the oil. But again, we don't pray and thank God for the oil. So the question is like this. If we have a bunch of enemies coming against us, and it's a massive war, and we're outnumbered, outweaponed, and everything else, a miraculous victory, isn't that what we should be thanking God for? Shouldn't we be commemorating the victory of the war only? What is the relevance of God making a magic trick of lighting candles for 8 days? Who cares? Really, who cares? Imagine you're about to die and you get saved, but miraculously get saved. Okay? Really miraculously. Right? Imagine, God forbid, someone's in the Holocaust, right there in Auschwitz, they get saved miraculously. Right? That's enough. I don't need God to do a poof, pull a rabbit out of the magic hat, light candles for 8 days. What do I need that for? What do I need that for? So first of all, we have to learn a little bit, what is the significance, or what exactly the Greeks want to do to us? Now we know that the holiday of Purim, where Achashverosh wanted to destroy the Jewish nation, or Haman wanted to destroy the Jewish nation physically. He wanted to carry out genocide on the Jewish nation, and we physically fought back in order for him not to succeed in destroying us physically. Okay? That was Purim. Chanukah, there was no physical threat. Absolutely no physical threat from the Yevanim. Zero. In fact, the opposite. The Yevanim said to us, you know what, Jews? Why don't you become American Jews? Why don't you become Greek Jews? Really, there was no threat. Why don't you become French Jews? Become Spanish Jews? Become German Jews? Whatever it is. In other words, forget your identity a little bit. Just let it go. Don't keep Shabbat anymore. Don't keep Kashrut anymore. Just be like us. And not only are you going to be like us, it's not going to be a hard thing to do. We're going to make you feel comfortable. We're going to make statues of you, like the statue of Moses and King David. Statue will put you in our coliseums, and you'll pay our sports. You'll become mayors of this place. You'll be so happy. You don't need that Torah. You don't need it anymore. And so that's what the Greeks try to do to us. Now the problem was many of the Jews were Hellenists. Many of the Jews went along with it, right? They didn't say we're not Jewish anymore, but they did things to try to cover up their identity. And so many of the Jews went down that route. The Hashmonaim said, we can't let this happen. You see, because when there's physical threat, when they're saying, I'm coming to kill you, then you pick up your rifle, you fight and you win, right? But when there's spiritual threat, it's not so obvious. It's not a guy looking like Hezbollah or Hamas coming at you. It's a friend who's smiling at you. Say, Shabbat is not so important. Come to the party on Friday night with us. Come to the party. Come to the New Year's party with us, even though it's on Friday night. Don't worry about Shabbat. And the majority of the Jews saying, you know what, I'm not so religious anyway, I'll just go to the party, what's the big deal? So they lost the importance of Torah. Now, what is the importance of Torah? It's not just about, you keep this, great, you don't keep this, you're going to get punished. That's not what Torah is, people. That's not what Judaism is. It's a big mistake. I'm not sure what other religions say. Judaism is not about going to heaven or going to hell. It's not what it is in Judaism. In Judaism, it's much deeper than that. In Judaism, we believe that every good act that you do, your moral vision becomes clear. Your clarity becomes sharper. Every bad act you do, your moral clarity becomes blurred. It's about a way of life. It's not about checks and X's in heaven or hell. It's not about going to hell or going to heaven. It's about developing yourself in a way of life. So the Torah is not you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed. It's a code of ethics defined by a Kadosh Baruch Hu, not by your own comforts. I don't eat kosher not because it's disgusting. Cheeseburger looks delicious. Putting butter on my steak, which sounds absolutely wonderful. I don't not eat that stuff because I think it's disgusting. Exactly the opposite. I don't eat that because a Kadosh Baruch Hu said I shouldn't eat it. And I understand that I'm in focus, that although my physical body here is in this world, and I sleep and I eat and I'm living in a physical world, I actually want to strengthen my soul to uplift my body and uplift my soul. So what happens is, every time we do a mitzvah, we do a positive commandment, right? We strengthen the soul and we uplift the body. Every time we do a negative commandment, we stay in the soul and bring down the body. And we make ourselves more like an animal. Again, uplift and downlift. Uplift the soul, uplift the body, bring it down, stay in the soul and bring the body down, right? So I love when people say, oh, animals do that. Yeah, I know, we're not animals. So the idea of Torah is to have like glasses on, to be able to see the matrix, to see the code, right? So I see something that according to Judaism is wrong, and I'll go, oh, I really want to do that. I have that code on. I have my glasses on. I won't do that because it's not allowed by Kadosh Baruch Hu, it's commanded by Judaism, by Jewish law. That is the goal of Judaism. What did the Greeks want to do? The Greeks wanted to take those glasses off. The Greeks wanted to shut the matrix down. The Greeks wanted to blind us of our code. So when it says in the Tefillah, Lashkicham Toratecha, to make you forget the Torah, that is what they were doing. They weren't they were trying to make you not keep Shabbos. They wanted you to forget the Torah. They wanted you to turn off the codes. They wanted us to stop looking at the world through the Torah glasses. Now the problem is, if you would come to me when I was 18 and give me that offer, right? Just happy-go-lucky, carefree, physical, fun world, don't worry about anything else. I would have taken it. Because the importance of living that religious Jewish life was not so important to me at 18. I was religious, but I was religious because my family was religious. Right? I didn't have that view. I didn't have the matrix on. I didn't see it. So I was just doing it out of practice. So if someone would come to me and say, I will make you an NBA star only if you play on Shabbat, I probably would have said yes. Now, there are tremendous people out there who live here in Israel now who had the offer, and they said no. We know people like Sandy Koufax didn't play on Yom Kippur, right? But the point is that the idea is that we had the ability, the Maccabim had the ability to say no to that very, very, very tempting offer. That very tempting offer, just to be like everyone else. No more anti-Semitism, imagine. No more anti-Semitism. They'd love it. They'd hug us. They'd become our best friends, just as long as we don't keep Judaism. Imagine such an offer. Right? Imagine the world saying, well, we'll love you if you just don't make Jerusalem your capital. We'll love you if you don't say Judea and Samaria is part of the land of Israel. If you just give it up to those who want to destroy you, we'll love you. We'll hate you if you don't do that. Right? And we give up to these things. Well, that's the kind of like the Midyavnim, the Jews who became Hellenists. They're giving into the world against their Judaism. Now, what happened was, the Maccabim, think about it for a second. It's not having to fight only a physical war. It's having to convince Jews that those glasses are worth it. That the glasses of Judaism, it's worth it. The matrix is real. What they're offering is fake. It's yes, it's comfort right now, but it's not real. And so, one of the major differences is if I took oil and I say to a Jew, what kind of oil is this? And they say, well, that's impure oil because it was around impure people, it was touched by impure people, or it was opened, and whatever the reasons of the laws of impurity in Judaism exists, it's impure oil. The Greeks are saying, what is wrong with you people? What is the difference between that oil and this one, pure and impure? What's the difference? The Greeks say it doesn't smell different, doesn't taste different, you can't feel the difference. There's nothing physically different about them. It's not worth dying for. So when you come with that statement, okay, spirituality can't be felt physically, can't be seen, smelled, not at all, right? A good cheeseburger can be felt, smelled, tasted. Not to eat cheeseburger, there's no tangible response to that. I'm doing it, it's my spiritual being that's saying don't eat that. So the Greeks were saying, come on, morons, pure and impure, what's the difference? Come on, what do you believe in, this voodoo stuff? What, are you kidding? Now the Maccabim had to stand up to that. And they stood up to it, even put their lives, and put everyone's lives in danger to stand up to it. And we did win the war. We got back to Beit HaMikdash. Now, the halacha is, the Jewish law is, that if everybody's impure, impurity's out the door. Right? It's too much mitzibur. If everyone's impure. They just came back from war. Now, many people don't know this. The Maccabim built another menorah. Not inside the temple, one made out of spears, according to the history books. And that's the one they lit outside the holies. Inside, they lit the golden menorah. Now, they were looking for pure oil. They didn't need to look for pure oil. They could have lived with impure oil. And they're looking around. Why was it so important to find that pure oil? Because that's what the war was all about. It wasn't a physical war. It was lashkicham Toratecha. The whole war was to get us to forget the Torah, to forget the codes, to forget the code of ethics that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. Just forget it. There's no difference. Pure and impure. What's the difference? What's the difference between a pure person and an impure person? Now, when it comes to Judaism, the difference is life and death. You can't go into the Beit HaMikdash with being impure. You're punishable by death. Not physical, not stoning or anything, but Kadosh Baruch Hu, it's karet, it's called. It cuts your life off. So while the Greeks are saying there's no difference between pure and impure, Judaism is saying it's a difference between life and death. So the oil was important because that was what the whole war is about. We're looking for that one flask. It is so important that we light the pure oil. That is our answer to the Greeks. So we put our lives in danger for it. We put our lives in danger to look for the impure oil. Again, understand, pure and impure oil, there's no tangible difference between them. That is what the Greeks were saying. What is the difference? It doesn't taste different. It doesn't smell different. It doesn't feel different. There's no difference. So that even though we could have lit impure oil at that time, it was after war, Chashmonim were looking for that pure oil because that was what the war was all about. The Yevanim wanted lashkicham Toratecha, to make you forget your Torah. It's a weird sentence, right? Say, don't keep your Torah. What's forget your Torah? Is to wipe your eyes, make your whole moral clarity become blurry. No difference between pure and impure. What's the difference? That's what they wanted. Lashkicham Toratecha. And therefore, when we won the war, we went looking for pure oil because that is what the war was all about. And we found one flask, and the way they knew it was pure was because the flask had this stamp. The ring had a stamp of the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, on it. And we knew it wasn't open, it had the patil around it. We knew it was pure oil. And again, it was only enough for one day, so you do what you can do. So there's a machloket, there's an argument in the Gemara, how they spilled out the oil. They 1/8 every day. They poured oil in, how much burned each day, but it's totally irrelevant for me. And they poured it in. So this is what we have. We cannot use the impure oil. We'll lose the war. Even though we physically won the war, the physical war is not the end of it. We'll lose the war against the Yevanim, the culture. There is a difference between pure and impure. So they dumped the oil into the menorah, and then a Kadosh Baruch Hu stepped in, and then God stepped in. The relevance of a Kadosh Baruch Hu leaving candles lit for 8 days is not a miracle. We're talking about a Kadosh Baruch Hu who created the world. Lighting candles for 8 days is like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Who cares? And again, most of the nation didn't see it. Only the Kohanim saw it inside. They lit another one outside to tell the nation, hey, there's a miracle going on inside. But nobody saw it. And again, what's the relevance? Who cares? We won a war. We were saved. Isn't that more important than a Kadosh Baruch Hu, God making pull a rabbit out of a hat? No, because it's not about a miracle. It's about a Kadosh Baruch Hu putting the period at the end of the sentence, saying you search for that pure oil because that is the war, to show that there is spirituality in the world. The Greek culture that's all about body and physicality and comfort is not what the world is only all about. You should be very happy in this world. But spirituality does exist and it's real. So the candles that were lit for 8 and stayed lit for 8 days, the whole purpose of that was that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to the Chashmonaim and the Maccabim, you are right. Here, I break physical laws to show you that there is a difference between pure and impure. So the miracle is not we're lighting candles and say, oh, God did a magic trick. No. We're lighting these candles because there was Kiddush Hashem, there was sanctity of Kadosh Baruch Hu's name in the world for those 8 days. Those 8 days, you can no longer say there's no difference between pure and impure. And therefore, we are lighting these candles, Shemen Zayit, olive oil, the same olive oil in the Beit HaMikdash, to commemorate that idea that there is a difference between pure and impure. There is morality in the world. And spirituality is important. And proud to be Jewish is not only picking up a gun and fighting for your Judaism. Of course, that's also what it is. But spiritually, okay, when people are saying, Jewish out there, I say you're keeping Shabbat, if your boys are wearing a kippah, whatever it is, and I say to them, he says, no, I don't think it's so important. That is exactly what we're talking about. How could you say it's not so important? I say, well, what if the Nazi came along and said, don't you ever keep Shabbat again, and you had the ability to kill the Nazi? Oh, I would kill him, but you don't keep Shabbat anyway. I said to the person. In other words, I'm happy you're proud of being Jewish and you would hurt anyone who wants to destroy you, but don't you understand our survival is not only about physical wars, which I hope we win and we fight, but it's about the spiritual war right there. It's about understanding that spirituality matters. And that is the message of Chanukah. The message of Chanukah is the idea of spirituality over the physical. The Yevanim were trying to have us forget our Torah, and we won the war. Not only physically, we found the pure flask, we fought the temptation of lighting impure oil, and then we won the war because HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed that there is power to purity. There is power to the rules that Judaism, that the Torah defines for us. That was the victory of the war. In terms of today, I think the lessons of Chanukah are very clear. And by the way, Chanukah did not last. 200 years after Chanukah, the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. The temple was destroyed. The Chashmonaim, the big heroes, they did not live. They did not live. If you ask me today, we are living the modern day miracle of Chanukah called Israel. But we have a responsibility. We've won the physical war. We have won the physical war. But if we don't fight for the spiritual side of things, the physical war has no relevance. People win wars all over the world. Yes, we won a war in 1967 where the many came against the few. In 1948, when the many came against the few, we won that war. Absolutely. However, that's not the period at the end of the game. We're not in the land of Israel just because we won a war. We're in the land of Israel because of the spirituality of who we are as Jewish people. If we do not uphold that flag, being proud of who we are as a religion, as Jewish people, we lose the justification to coming back to the land of Israel. So yes, you should be looking forward to building the third Beit HaMikdash. Are you looking forward to keeping Shabbat in Israel? Are you looking forward to keeping kosher in Israel and doing all the laws? Not because you'll be punished if you don't, or no, because this is who we are as a nation. This is who we should be. Everybody watching out there around the world, okay, whatever you're religious, you're not religious, it's totally irrelevant. What you were yesterday is totally irrelevant. The question is, what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do today? Okay, and now, here's the thing. If you're part of the tribe, you're not part of the tribe, you're not Jewish, you have the 7 commandments of Noach, and that's all you got. That's all you got to keep. And you're a righteous everything, you're a righteous person. And if you're Jewish, you have a lot of other laws to keep. And the point is, if you even take on one more, decide to do one more, you're lighting a Chanukah candle. You're really lighting a Chanukah candle, not just with a match. Really lighting a Chanukah candle. You're giving witness and testimony that you won, that the Yevanim lost. My grandmother, Leah Sham, who survived the Holocaust, many camps, several camps, she used to look at her grandchildren, all 5 of us, and say, "You are my victory. You are my victory." 5 Jewish grandsons who are proud religious Jews. You are my victory. Because Hitler did not only want to destroy us physically, he wanted to destroy us completely. And the fact that the Jewish nation is not only alive and kicking, and we're back in the land of Israel, we're blossoming. I don't know if you saw the pictures from Chanukah. They lit the menorah in Berlin, right in front of that parliament, where the Nazis had their flag 75 somewhat years ago. Today the menorah is lit up there. So we won. We won. As religious, as Jews, we won. But the victory is not short-lived. It's not we won, that's it. We have to keep going. And we have a war within ourselves as well. And the victory will happen when every Jew on their own takes on another thing that Judaism says. Every time you do that, you light another ner, you light another candle, another Chanukah candle. I want to finish off with one thought that I heard from one of my rabbis. Everybody's screaming at each other, "Oh, they're not religious. They're this, they're that, they're this, because of that." He's screaming at every other sect in Judaism. So of course there is Jewish law, and if someone wants to change a Jewish law, I'm not talking about that. That's that they can do whatever they want, but they cannot say that they're keeping Judaism. Okay, but I'm talking about the different sects of Judaism who actually believe in the Jewish law as obligation. But everyone there are different. There's Ashkenazim, there's Sfaradim, there's ultra Orthodox, there's modern Orthodox. All these groups who keep Torah, who think Torah is again a heavenly decree that is binding. So I heard from a rabbi that Mashiach will come, the redemption will come. The redemption will come when everybody stops pointing their finger at someone else and saying they're the reason redemption is not coming. That's when we turn in and say, what am I doing wrong and what can I do right in order to bring it closer? It's in everyone's personal responsibility and everyone's community on their own, not them. Okay? That doesn't help. All right, people. I'm signing off now. I want to wish everyone a very, very happy Chanukah. Chag Sameach to everyone. And maybe merit. We have one more day left, so you never know. Maybe tomorrow night we'll light the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash, Bezrat Hashem. And if, unfortunately, we don't merit to do that tomorrow, let's hope that next year we will see the lighting of the menorah in the 3rd Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. I want to remind everyone, and I'm asking everyone to do this, the link is down below. We have the Chanukah campaign. It's pinned right there. And as well as the truck campaign, which I'll be putting up in a second. I'm asking everyone a couple of favors. Number 1, please share the video out. Let's get this seen by as many people as possible. Number 2, please hit one of the links above and do whatever you can. Okay, really, if you're blessed by having a lot of money, then do what you can. If you don't have so much money, you can do it as little as you can. Everybody do something. Help us light those candles for the men and women of the IDF for keeping us safe. All right, Chag Sameach, everyone. Take care. I'm going to put the link for the truck up again, and the link here is pinned for the Chanukah campaign for soldiers. Shalom, God bless, from the stunning, beautiful rolling hills of Judea, Israel. Nes Gadol Hayapo. The miracle of Chanukah happened right here, people. If you are anywhere else but here, and you are saying Nes Gadol Hayasham, the miracle of Chanukah happened there, come home and live it. Chag Sameach, everyone. Take care.